Hi guys, I just wanted to share with you the project that is coming up. This is a project that is actually worth 20% of your grade. It's the critical thinking project, and it includes an essay and a presentation. So everything you need to know about it is under picture book assignment. And this is the assignment explained. So I'm sorry, just bear with me while things take time to download. Okay, so this is indeed the critical thinking project, and this is what you really need to know about it. There are basically three parts. The first step in this project is choosing a topic. And you want to choose a topic that you would want to study with your future students. So, for example, you might choose divorce. And you are going to find two picture books, meaning, children's books with pictures in them, one fiction and one nonfiction. So I will give you a list of resources, but if you can't find a nonfiction picture book, you can always use a child's encyclopedia that can be found online. And then the third step is always, as we do with any paper, we have an outline, we have a rough draft, and we have a final draft. If we come back, I want to show you the step in the outline. So this is what your paper will be like. I'm sorry, I needed to tell you how long the paper is going to be, didn't I? And the paper will be 5 to 7 pages, the normal formatting, and you'll need sources. So you'll have 2 picture books. You will cite the Indiana Department of Education, I'll talk to you about that, and another source to support the importance of your topic. So let me guide you through that outline, and I think it'll make a lot more sense. Okay. And again, I apologize for it taking a bit. So the intro to your paper is a justification for teaching the topic with picture books. Okay, so the idea is a justification. For example, why would we talk about divorce with our students? Well, it affects 50%, 50 or more percent of households in the United States, right? We use picture books because maybe it makes a topic less scary and more approachable when we add fictional characters. And then you talk about why it's useful, why is this a good idea to use picture books? And then the second part is really an analysis of both books. So the fiction picture book, this would be a made-up story with fictional characters, right? Like Susie's parents get a divorce, for example. And the diction, when it says that, is really like what kind of sentence structure is happening? Are they short, small sentences? If you're trying to teach a science lesson, is there scientific words and vocabulary to identify? You talk about the subject matter and themes. The themes might be acceptance, sadness, things like that. And then your illustrations, you also analyze those. You look at them. Are they realistic or more cartoonish? And then whatever areas of interest. You have your audience, and your audience is going to be fellow teachers. So the people in the classroom that are going to teach like you. And then you will talk about the strengths. What did it do well? And then what makes it worth reading? And then you would talk about the weaknesses. What could it improve upon? And you'll do the same for the nonfiction picture book. And again, if you can't find one, this could be a child's encyclopedia. A nonfiction would be, for example, divorce, and it might be a child psychologist's take or a little workbook on how to navigate it. You'll compare and contrast, and you'll say, how did they work well together? Why am I using them? What does one have that the other doesn't? Maybe that's why I'm using them. The expected results in the classroom. Maybe this is going to be a part of a larger lesson on families, for example. Maybe then the next lesson would be blended families. What do you think? Do you think there'll be questions? We might ask, I really anticipate I'll need my principal's permission, and I might need to have the school counselor come in and talk to the students. I might need to give parents a heads up. Maybe students, it would be too emotional for them to be part of the discussion. At this point anyway, summarize your findings and encourage others to teach about your topic. Okay, so we talked about those sources. In order to find the sources, so I will give you a student example of the outline. So this one was about divorce, and they kind of tell us why. And then they give us the sources they used, right? It's Not Your Fault, Coco Bear. That's the fiction book. And then we also need to identify its place in the curriculum, right? If you are teaching about divorce, it might be in the social studies curriculum part, and they talk about finding the Indiana Department of Education. The reading level of their book was grade 2, so they used those. Marriage Statistics was their outside source to justify the topic, and they have picture books across the curriculum. Why do we use picture books? And they talk about learning style, because we also need to remember when we talked about the different types of learner: auditory, kinesthetic, and visual. Part of the paper says, how are we going to address these students? And so we needed to talk about that. She gives us the strengths of each book, the weakness, compare and contrast of both, and expected results. For example, she said children will have questions about the parts of the divorce. They might want to talk to their peers. They might, have parents who are currently divorcing. Could bring up more emotional topics. Permission from principal, coordination with school guidance counselor. So that's just an example of one student's take on it. This is the example for sources. So, the libraries are closed, but this is a really great source of how to find free books. You can also use the Vincennes University Library. You can use the public library and find those e-picture books. And then, gosh, if you just Google picture books, you'll find a wealth of resource. But look, we have the Cloud Library, we have the Tumble Book Library, International Children's Digital Library. We have so many options for you to use. So that is definitely something to think about. And you have your own, and that's fine too if you do. We have examples of teaching articles, right? Why are we teaching with the different learning styles, the different types of learners? We have this, if you click on it, the PowerPoint about visual, kinesthetic, and auditory learners will come up. You can cite Wagner in that. And then we'll go back. Excuse me. And then this is the general explanation. All of the sections do the same assignment. And so this is just a more detailed explanation. I kind of like to break it down, but it kind of talks to you a little bit about it and addressing those learners. At the very bottom is a rubric on how I will be grading you. So when we're doing this, it says the essay successfully justifies the subject's place in the elementary curriculum and the use of picture book as an educational tool. Let me go back to the sources for you. When we go to source help, there's the curriculum standards, okay? So you can go and you can find out the state standards. Just click on it. And you can get, let's say I think, wow, this is going to be under social studies. I don't know. And then you can go through here and you say, my grade book. If you don't know the level, you can guess, or you can usually type in grade level of a book and you'll be able to find it. But let's say that your grade level was second grade. And if it was, you can scroll through here and say, okay, what standards were addressed, right? I'm kind of going in social studies here, but if you're doing a history lesson or something, you could say, wow, it addressed 2.2, explain the United States government is founded on the belief of equal rights for its citizens. That might be with a lesson plan about diversity or respect. And again, you can find any standard that you'd like to through that process. I want to go back, excuse me, to the rubric. Sorry, I'm getting it crazy with these. It's right there for me, but oh well. We'll scroll down again. And so it justifies the subject place in elementary curriculum, right? Find an outside article of why it would be important to talk about divorce. And usually picture books is an educational tool. I kind of gave you one of those. You might find another. And essay identifies many of the book's techniques, how they enhance or distract from the book's educational value. This comes from strengths and weaknesses. Classroom application clearly identifies a lesson and an audience. What are you going to do with this? Is it going to be a one-day lesson? It's going to turn into a larger unit on families, for example. And definitely explains how students might decode the text. So if you see that there's some vocabulary, you might say, hey, we're going to split into small groups and have students look these up or guess them and then have another group look them up or whatever it might be. But how are you going to decode things that might be difficult for students? How would you guide a diverse group of learners? This is where those auditory, kinesthetic, and visual learners come into play? How are you going to address each one? Are you going to, have kinesthetic learners maybe role play a family? Are you going to have, visual learners maybe talk about a drawing that makes them think about divorce or whatever else it might be? As always, is the organization there? I'm wanting to see sophisticated transitions. Grammar and style, gosh, I never have a problem with that with you guys, but no run-ons, capitalization errors, and things like that. And then sources. So do you have your 2 picture books? Do you have the curriculum standards? Do you have something that talks about addressing different learners? And then if you're using a quote, do you use that quote burger? Do you introduce the quote and do they then cite it and explain the importance or significance of it? You never want to be a slave guide to your sources. I know you've heard this before, but they work for you, and that's this section here. We'll go back. And, I give you a student sample of an essay so that you can sort of decode the essay and check it out. Okay, scrolls. This was on spiders, for example. And then close that. Gosh, there's a handout template. And then after you write this 5 to 7 page paper, it becomes a presentation. So honestly, you take the information, the outline that I showed you about divorce is the outline you will use for the information to cover. You can do this in a narrated PowerPoint. You can do a YouTube video and have visual presentations there. But this is how you're going to be graded. So the video's formatting, organization are exceptionally attractive, and formatting is well organized. The video has all the required information from the checklist. Grammar mechanics are good, and the graphics go well with the text, and there's a good mix of text and graphics. Remember that I always don't want to see big chunks of text, but more narration and you talking about us with a pleasing visual. And I think that is the project in a nutshell. We will take it step by step, and you can always come back to these resources and ask me questions. I hope that helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.